So I'm sure you've got this email before in your inbox, and it typically comes from somebody who you don't know. It typically comes with a little bit of broken English, and it typically promises that they can get you on the first page of Google. So, what I wanted to talk about today is how to deal with an email like that, but not so much how to deal with it, because probably the best way to deal with something like that is just to throw it in the bin, but how to interpret that so that you can understand a little bit more about what's being offered and perhaps what's not being offered. So I thought I'd share with you an overview of how challenging it is to actually get on the first page of Google for a keyword that has a lot of volume, and how it might be better and in your best interests to get on the first page of Google for a keyword that has less volume. Let me help explain. So, what you see in front of you here on the screen is the number of volumes of people who are interested in this keyword, laser eye surgery. Now, these people are just in the UK, and that's a pretty significant amount of people who, or rather, searches of that one keyword, 40.5 thousand keyword searches. So that makes this keyword quite difficult. And if somebody says to you, I can get you on the first page of Google for laser eye surgery, well, that's a big deal because number one, you're going to get a lot of traffic to your website if that actually happens. Now, often these promises or offers don't tend to come with any kind of caveats or any kind of any kind of conditions in the sense of like how long would it take and what keyword we're talking about. I mean, listen, I can get you on the first page of Google for your name in probably less than a couple of days. So that's easy. And if that's what they're offering, well, you could probably do that yourself. So what is the first page of Google really matter for? Well, number one, it's certainly about the amount of volume. And as you can see, volume for this keyword is significant. Keyword difficulty is difficult. That means that you're going to have at least 28 referring domains and optimized content to compete here for this keyword. You can see here that in the breakdown, people from outside of the US also search for this keyword, sorry, out of the UK. And you can see here that, you see the different numbers. Laser eye surgery, interestingly, is not a big keyword in the States. In the States, they use words like LASIK and SMILE and PRK. So perhaps a little bit more of a sophisticated market when it comes to looking for actual procedural names. The results here, as you can see, these are how many results Google generates for this keyword phrase. There's a lot of results. But of course, as we all know, 99% of the results that are actually seen are on the first page. Now, what's CPC? Well, CPC is the cost per click. And as you can see, this is the average cost per click that advertisers spend in the UK on mobile in pounds. And that's £2.40. So that sounds pretty cheap. Why do people spend so little on laser eye surgery compared to other keywords? Well, I'll get to that in a second. I think it's also important to note that keyword variations are where it's at. So keywords like laser eye surgery are nice to have. And if you do a lookup for laser eye surgery, you'll see that some people show up on the first page of Google. How did they get there? Well, number one, chances are you're seeing local results. Google has become very locally oriented. And that means that if I'm doing a search in Leeds for laser eye surgery, I'm going to get local results that are convenient for me as if I was searching for somebody in Leeds or in the area around it. If I'm doing a search in London, I'm going to get convenient results for London. So that's why if you're in a different area and you're using Google to do a search, you're going to find you're seeing something different than someone in a different area might see. The other difference that might occur is the fact that you're seeing your own search history. So if you visit your site a lot, Google will assume that you find that site very useful. So it will give you your site on Google's result page in a different way than it might give the random person who has never visited your site before. It'll also give you other sites that relate to your site or have similar content to your site or similar history to your site. So as you can see, doing your own searches is a bit of a challenge. And that's why I would suggest to you to use a tool like SEMrush or at worst, the incognito browser in Chrome to see how you stack up against different people and who's on actually the first page of Google. So if you can look at this here, we have this in SEMrush, and you can see over the UK as a whole, these are the pages that tend to show up on Google for the first page of laser eye surgery. And you can see here, you've got the NHS, makes sense. Lots and lots of referring domains, lots of page authority score, a high number of backlinks, a lot of search traffic already, and a lot of URL keywords that relate to laser eye surgery. So as you can see, that is going to be a winner. The NHS, unfortunately for the private establishments who are competing on laser eye surgery, the NHS tends to be a big, strong player that actually Google just rates because they're good on laser eye surgery and other things. They're trusted. Optical Express comes second. Optimax comes third. Moorfields comes fourth. ABDO, and I don't know what that is, comes fifth. Bupa, YouTube, Specsavers, Which, and then London Vision Clinic, which is the only independent clinic I see on this whole list that isn't affiliated with either a government brand like Moorfields or a multiple chain like Optimax or Optical Express. So you can also see some people who are really missing. I won't get into those right now, but the point I'm making is that it's actually really not that easy to get on the first page of Google for an independent. Independents are the kind of people that I tend to work with and try as hard as we can. It's really, really hard to score UK wide for a page, for a search result like laser eye surgery. London Vision Clinic has done it. And, that's due to a huge prolonged effort at generating lots of backlinks, a lot of good amount of search traffic, and lots of keywords in their website that really gives them a very significant page authority score. In fact, it's the highest in the list. And the only reason why they're not on top is because, well, the other ones have more authority as a result of other conditions. Could be size, could be longevity, could be lots of different things. So that's laser eye surgery. But what should you go for instead? Well, here's another example of a keyword called laser eye surgery cost. And I would recommend going for laser eye surgery cost over laser eye surgery. Why? Well, if you look, you're not going to have the NHS show up. So that takes them out of the running immediately. Why? Because the NHS doesn't charge for laser eye surgery. They don't even provide it. So if somebody's looking for laser eye surgery cost, then they're much more likely to be a buyer of laser eye surgery as opposed to somebody who's just looking at laser eye surgery. Now that person could be obviously one day have laser eye surgery, but when somebody types in the word cost, they're actually thinking about buying it. So they're determining whether they can afford it. So you can see a lot of different pages show up here. Optical Express, laser eye surgery pricing. Optimax, laser eye surgery treatment cost. Which they did an article on laser eye surgery and what you should go for, and it's very much a consumer-oriented brand. Laser Eye Surgery Hub, which compares costs. Laser Eye Surgery Clinic Compare, another cost comparison site. All About Vision, which also discusses costs across lots of different providers. Oh, look, there's the NHS. Not sure why they would show up as cost. I bet you that will eventually slide down the ranks. Alex Short, which is interestingly one of our clients who happens to have a great page on laser eye surgery cost. Optigra, and Ultralace. So you now see some different players who are a little bit more commercial. But here, let's have a look at this. The keyword difficulty here is possible, as opposed to laser eye surgery, which was difficult. Now, back to laser eye surgery cost, it's a possible, a competitive keyword to rank for. You will need well-structured and unique content. So as far as getting an opportunity to rank on the first page of Google, if I said to you, I can get you ranked for laser eye surgery cost, well, I probably have a better leg to stand on than if I were to say I can get you ranked on the first page of Google for laser eye surgery. And here's the other thing. It's actually also possible to rank for this keyword using paid traffic. 119 pounds as opposed to £2.40 average. So that means it's actually cheaper to get on the first page of Google via a paid ad. That's another way that email spammers tell you, I'll get you on the first page of Google. Yeah, sure, but you'll have to pay for an ad. So that's another thing to watch out for. The competitive score here is 0.71 compared to 0.70. So that's basically a wash. However, there's much less volume. Now, 35.2K is still a lot, and I'd be very happy to receive that. The other thing, too, you'll notice here is that the US has a lot higher volume than other countries, but about the same as the UK. So this is a little bit different. Now, I would rather rank on the first page for laser eye surgery cost than I would for laser eye surgery. Why is that? Because even though I'm going to get less volume, I'm definitely going to get a significant amount of volume of people who are actually interested in buying laser eye surgery. And if I'm running a clinic or advertising for a clinic, then I want people who are consumers. Now, I'm not going to say no to laser eye surgery being on the first page. That's great. Traffic is wonderful. But I'm going to have more accurate stats if I drive people who are actually interested in the procedure. So that's just going to give me a more educational value. Now, let's look at another keyword that should be a little easier, which is laser eye surgery London. And as you can see here, the volume significantly drops. These are people who are most likely in London or want to have surgery in London. The keyword difficulty here is possible. So it's very similar to the keyword difficulty for laser eye surgery cost, but still much lower than the keyword difficulty for laser eye surgery. So laser eye surgery London is a great keyword to end up on the first page of Google for. And that's where we most definitely would like to put you if you were working in London and offering laser eye surgery. And here you can see a number of different results. So here you can see Optical Express, South of England search, London Vision Clinic. Now there's a hint there. When we helped name London Vision Clinic, we thought, let's put London in the name. Because even in 2002, we were thinking, this internet thing, it's not a fad. It's not going away. And people are going to start searching for London laser eye surgery. Why don't we call the clinic London Vision Clinic? And here we are today. Second place result for laser eye surgery London. That's great, especially since we're the only, one of the few independents that actually ranks at that level. Here you can see Moorfields Private, Optigra, most likely their hospital in London. Focus Clinics, which is also an independent provider and a former client of ours in London. LASIK Eyes, who is a comparison site. AccuVision, who I've never worked for. Surprised they're actually doing that well for laser eye surgery in London. Alex Short, who's an independent client of ours. OCL and OCL Vision, who interestingly, in a very short period of time, have actually managed to get quite high for the keyword laser eye surgery in London. Good for them, because they've really done some things that many are not, and has really put them in good stead as a real strong competitor. They're actually, in this search anyway, showing up twice. So that's great. Now, laser eye surgery in London, look at that CPC. Even though the volume is less, the CPC is £5. Why is that? Because as an advertiser, I would likely pay more for ranking for that word than I would pay for laser eye surgery. Why? Because I'm going to get a lot more conversions as a result of laser eye surgery London than I would get for London or for just laser eye surgery. How do I know that? Well, we know we do these kinds of programs everywhere across the world. And we always know that the more local and the more long tail the result is that we're ranking for, the better our conversions are going to be. So that's one of the reasons why we're really keen on ranking well for these kind of keywords, because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter whether you rank for your name. It doesn't really matter whether you rank for generic keywords that nobody cares about. What matters most is that you rank for keywords that not only have a decent amount of volume, but also result in a high percentage of buyer intent. And laser eye surgery London likely has a higher intent than laser eye surgery. But laser eye surgery cost is great too. So let's have a look now, finally, at laser eye surgery costs London. Now, the volume has significantly dropped. It used to be 1.3 and going up for laser eye surgery cost 12.1, and then going up all the way to laser eye surgery, which was 4.5. And as you can see, the difficulty has also gone down. This particular keyword phrase is actually ranked easy. It is quite possible to rank for this keyword. You will need quality content focused on the keyword's intent. So this is great. That's a keyword that I would very happily want to put you on the first page of Google for. And here you can see the CPC is 3.22. Not bad. I could pay for that keyword, but I also would think that that keyword is going to have a higher buyer intent. Certainly, probably the highest buyer intent. I would expect to get a higher conversion rate from people who land on the research result on my website if it was listed on the first page of Google for laser eye surgery costs London than I would for any of the other keywords that I've discussed. So this one's a great one, and I would definitely go for it. And the other thing too, it's got great efficiency because it's really easy to get. So it's so broad and so narrow that this tool doesn't even show it. But I know that I can look at the SERP myself to see how it shows up. So laser eye surgery costs London would be a great keyword to rank for. Now, I hope that makes sense. You got to look at a lot of different things. You got to look at volume. You got to look at the difficulty of the keyword. Is it worth ranking for that keyword on the first page of Google? Maybe your effort should be spent better elsewhere. Like, for example, going after an easier keyword like laser eye surgery cost or laser eye surgery London, or even easier, laser eye surgery cost London, which would probably give you an even better conversion rate from your search results. I think it's important, like I said, to always use a tool like this that shows you how things are ranking, because this gives you a better picture as to what things actually look like. So you can see here for laser eye surgery London, you can see a Google map shows up, and you can see as well that these are local listings. At the very top here, there's another snippet here that they're showing, and for reviews and whatnot. Then start the actual results from a search perspective. Now, we don't see any paid traffic results here, and that's a reason simply because it's omitting them here. But I have another tool called isearchfrom.com that can let you see paid traffic results and show you what they look like. And here you can see all the long list of different people that show up for laser eye surgery London. It's a good list. A lot of the people that you probably know are here. And what's interesting here is that I'm seeing a long scrolling page. Now on Google, as you know, they've segmented it into different pages, 10 results per page. And at the bottom, you click on page 2 to see the next page of results. Now, how many people actually do that? Very few. It's close to about 1 to 2%. So a lot of people joke, a lot of SEOs included, that the best place to bury a body is on the second place of Google because no one's ever going to find it. But here's the thing. Just 2 days ago, over the weekend, Google said and released infinite scrolling on Google mobile devices, whether it's iPhone or Android, using a Google search. And what infinite scrolling is how on Facebook or on Instagram, you basically just scroll, and you could scroll some people scroll for hours, but you might scroll for, a few minutes before you get tired out and decide, hey, this is a waste of my life. I got to be doing something different. But imagine if Google now goes to that format and modernizes their search experience, as they have in the US just over the weekend, to go infinite scroll. And that's going to happen here in the UK without a doubt, because people are going to love it. And everything I've shown you so far have been mobile results. So I think it's really important, except for what I'm showing you right now, but all of these previous ones have been mobile results. Mobile is the place to be ranking for your site for anything related to laser eye surgery, because that's where you're going to get most of your traffic from mobile. So that's the other thing. It's like, I can get you on the first page of Google. Great, on mobile or desktop. It matters because your site's got to be fast in order to appear on mobile. We've gotten sites down to less than a second load time. That's how fast things have to be to really, really do well on mobile. So that's something to think about. But I want you to consider the fact that once the search result pages go infinite scroll, maybe just possibly they might go there when it comes to desktops too, but they're certainly going that way when it comes to mobile. What is that going to do? Well, it's going to make this argument about the first page of Google a little bit less important, because really, if you're just scroll, well, you're going to find that you can scroll for a while before you get tired. The click is a barrier. And if you remove that barrier, then you're going to see a lot more scrolling. And what that means is that now everybody's on the first page of Google, but in reality, you're still going to be rewarded for being at the top. But basically, it's going to be a find it till I tick the box situation. And the whole idea of clicking through to the second page is going to go by the wayside. It's going to make a big distinctive change in terms of how valuable real estate on page 2, page 3, and page 4 might be. It's going to be a lot more valuable than it used to be. So keep that in mind. The first page of Google, that whole concept is kind of going out the window. But look, there's lots of great tools that can give you lots of great insight in terms of what people are searching for, what alternative keywords you might want to consider. For example, this is just Laser Eye Surgery London that's delivered me 118 alternative keywords. If I want to rank for these keywords, I look at my volumes, I look at my competitive breakdown, I look at my SERP features, I look at the amount of results, and I go for the most efficient keywords. So I want to go for the ones that are a little bit less competitive, but will give me an opportunity to score well and get the results I want to get for my clients. So in a nutshell, that's where Google's at these days. That's what an analysis of 4 different keywords. I looked at laser eye surgery. I looked at laser eye surgery cost. I looked at laser eye surgery London, and I looked at laser eye surgery cost London. And looking at all of those, you want to be thinking, what is my keyword strategy? Which ones do I want to go for? You know, it's very tempting to say, I want it all. But in reality, you've only got so much budget. You've only got so much time. And you're in a world where there's lots of other well-funded competitors that are pushing just as hard as you are to get on that first page of Google. So keep in mind, as an important takeaway, that email that you receive advertising the idea and that you're going to be on the first page of Google, that's non-specific, that's typically in broken English, that's typically promising the world without being in any way honest and truthful about how hard it is and what you might get and what you might have to pay if they're actually baiting and switching you for paid traffic. I would say the best thing to do is click delete and spend your time and energy talking to your SEO agency, discussing long tail keywords, discussing keyword strategy, really understanding and appreciating that wherever you are in the world might look a little bit different than the way your customers see you. Who you are and your search history influences what you see on Google. Infinite scroll is here. That's going to change things. The algorithms are changing all the time. The idea of everybody being able to be on the first page of Google is just impossible. So keep that in mind. Big promises end up often being little lies. So that's it from me. I hope this has been helpful. And yeah, let me know what you think. And if you're interested in getting on the first page of Google, well, we can talk. I'm not going to make any promises, but perhaps there's an opportunity for you to score well where you are for the particular keywords that make sense for you. Thanks.